All right. All right.
Our Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather today in your name. We thank you for the opportunity that you've given us to study your word, to digest the word, to eat the word, and to be about the word. Thank you for sending your son to give us the understanding. We thank you for the master teacher that is going to guide us in this lesson today. And we thank you for all that we hear, what is about to be said. We thank you for you, Father, and we thank you for all the blessings that we're going to receive from this meat that we're going to receive to eat and to go and to process to live this word. In your son's name, say, Amen.
Amen.
All right. All right. So you guys can see the screen, okay?
Yeah, the screen okay?
Yeah. Can you see the screen, okay?
Yeah, see the screen okay. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, welcome, Shabbat Shalom to everyone. We're going to talk about today's lesson, which is to be blessed to be a blessing, and what that means. So really, this is all about participation. I want to get some feedback from you guys regarding what it means to, well, really just to answer some of the questions, and then we'll take a little bit of a dive into some of those things. All right. So the first thing, just wanted to get some information. What is your understanding and perception of being blessed?
Well, I'll go first because I'm at a light. I think that being blessed is just having the word in you and understanding what it's supposed to do in you, for you, and for others. Meaning that when the Most High God gives us the understanding of the word, we are blessed to get the word, receive it, but we're also blessed to give it so that others can, or at least come to Him through us by what we do and how we are interpreting. Being blessed means interpreting and getting the word and using it for the spiritual understanding that He has given us. So that's why I understand.
All right. Anyone else?
I would just like to add to that proper doctrine and having the correct truth will lead to blessings and understanding.
Okay. All right. Good. How about when you are blessed, what do you do with your blessing?
As I said, kind of give it away. When I say give it away, share it with someone so that they can come into what we call the fold of His understanding. So sharing it with others so that they can receive the blessing and continue to share it so that the body is built or the kingdom is built.
All right. So do you have an example of that by any chance?
So like when I'm blessed with the word and the understanding, if I said, hey Z, let me share some things that I've learned in this in the Bible, this book, that'll help you not only with your life, but help you understand who the Messiah and Yahuah really is. So keep that being to be a blessing.
All right. Anyone else?
Also building the body of Yahushua.
Say that again.
I say in able to build in the body of Yahushua, the blessings.
All right. So give an example of when you're blessed, how you're doing that, how you're building the body.
By sharing the correct doctrine and the correct word.
Okay. So pretty much like what Bobby just stated. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. How about how does Yahuah and Yahusha benefit from you being blessed?
I think they benefit from us being blessed because we get to spread the word, the uncut truth, and them benefiting from it, us benefiting from it so much so with the speak is that we get to add to the fold, and we get to get people out of the darkness and out of the world and into his true teachings.
Right. Okay. Anything else? Anyone else?
Yahushua and Hamashiach is being blessed by their name. They always talk about their name, his name. People always know his name, and by the correct doctrine, and by people spreading the right truth about his name and his son name, strength and numbers, and and by getting strength and numbers, they will also get Yahushua and Yahuah and Yahushua name will also get the blessings by strength and numbers.
Right. Okay. Good. So, question: are you waiting on a blessing? And if so, how will you recognize and identify when you've been blessed? Have you ever heard? You ever hear somebody say, "I'm waiting on a blessing"?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know. Hold on one second.
All right. So anyone else can add to it as well?
Oh, you always have people say that blessed and highly favored.
Right. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But have you ever heard someone says they're waiting on a blessing? Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, they're waiting on the blessing. I hear that already. Yeah, I hear it already.
Right. So
they're waiting on the blessing.
Right. Some people say I'm waiting on a blessing when the Most High has given us everything that we need already. So my question is, are you waiting on a blessing? And if so, how you recognize and identify when you've been blessed?
Well, I would say I've been blessed already because I'm here in the true word. I'm the true doctrine. Again, to understand about obedience. So I would say I'm not waiting on a blessing. I'm blessed already by hearing the true word and the right doctrine and the way Father really want to worship him in spirit and in truth.
So was there a time in your life when you were waiting on a blessing? Waiting to understand the things that you now are beginning to?
By going to church and following the Hebrew Israelite, I would say I was waiting on a blessing. Yeah.
Right. So there was a time in your life
because the
you were seeking things out and you were still waiting on a blessing, but you knew that something was still not right in all of the places where you were going, that what you were receiving was not a blessing. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So now how do you recognize and identify when you're being blessed?
I can say that when I'm being blessed,
Hold
get to do this.
Hold on. Let Larry, I want you to finish that with how do you recognize and identify when you're saying now you feel like you're getting the knowledge and information to be blessed? How do you recognize that? How do you identify with that?
No, I would say because all the doctrine I've been indoctrinated with, this doctrine we're hearing here, as you say the word, we'll say, what strange doctrine is this?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, this doctrine is strange. And you ain't no pastors, no preachers, you ain't no Maori, you ain't no Muslim, you ain't no Hindu preaching this doctrine. At the end of the day, them have one doctrine. At the end of the day, that's why all of them could be under that order. But when you hear the true doctrine, the right doctrine, the doctrine from Father in spirit and in truth, you'll know the difference, man. Wow.
So does it seem to it resonates within your spirit? Is that what you're seeing or feeling and understanding with the information that you've been learning?
Not in my spirit alone, in the world. I actually see it. You actually see it. You actually see who going down who in the narrow gate and who in the wide gate. You actually see it.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool. And Bobby, what were you gonna say?
I was saying the same thing that Larry was saying, just that when you get the word and you get to fellowship and understand the word with like minds, the blessing is when you guys are together and you're fellowshipping and you're getting one another to the place that you want to be, and in the understanding of who he is in our lives and how he governs our lives.
So do you feel like you're waiting on a blessing still in some form or fashion, or do you feel like you're being blessed?
Already being blessed. We're being blessed to have this fellowship. We're being blessed that we know the information. And the most important part, like Larry said, we're being blessed that we decided to take the straight and narrow apart from the broad and wide gate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, cool. So I want to ask, have you had adversity in your life that have been a blessing in hindsight? And if so, explain.
Yeah. Our understanding when we were in the church.
Right.
In hindsight 2020, we knew, like you said, we knew that there was something wrong. We just couldn't put our hands on it. And then after so long that we've come out of her, now we understand what it was. And that is the best blessing that we have or we've been given. And so it just helps us with knowing now that that was always in us, but we didn't know it and it felt uncomfortable. But now it's not uncomfortable because we know that this is the blessing, that we don't have to see it with carnal eyes and we don't see it like the world. There are going to be things that we always face. Like the one thing I always say, I was blessed that I was picked out to be picked on, meaning that we were picked out of this world so that we can be picked on because of what we now. And they're not going to understand it. So it gives us that opportunity to see just how much of a blessing this is for us.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And that also helps us to identify that scripturally or whatever is. Many are called, but few are chosen. So a lot of people are called to do what the Most High's will, but few are chosen. The remnant are a few that are chosen to do His will in His way through the narrow gate. All right, and that's just one of many, scriptures. Of course, we can go into a lot, but just wanted to point that out as well. Larry,
I want to say one thing too. I want to say one thing. Predestined. You see, predestined.
Right.
I get predestined, and I didn't understand. I didn't understand until now. Father predestined certain things, and I feel we family, we group is a predestined family and group. Yeah.
Right. Right. So understanding the adversity in your life or the things that came before, like Bobby was just speaking about, with the things we've learned going through the understanding and indoctrination and all colonization and all imperialism and all the things of this world we've undergone and have gone through, that we can now look back in hindsight and see what the Most High has been saying and the things that our people have gone through, so that we can now learn who our Creator is. So that's in hindsight, through the adversity that we've gone through, right? Would you guys agree?
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So have you ever planned or traveled in one direction in your life and the trajectory of your life changed drastically due to circumstances and situations?
I think so. Especially with just the humanness of hold on one second. Hold on one second.
Larry, you were laughing.
Yeah, because in my life, wow.
Yeah.
I just had to say wow.
Yeah. Because just seeing where I was from where I am now and the progression that's happening. Yeah. I say so, yeah. And I can even do that with Just saying with the teaching,
Mhm.
how the teaching is helping me explore and grow. So when you talk about trajectory, you're talking about starting from one point and going to another one. So yeah, I would think so.
Now, do you think, is it comfortable for you, or is it uncomfortable? That trajectory and the changes?
It's never going to be comfortable. I think one of the things I'm learning about about Yahuah is we're not going to be in a comfortable state for us in terms of the way we think comfortable is.
Mm-hmm.
But is it comfortable? I like it because it helps weed out certain things and certain people
Mm-hmm.
that I know he's saying
so true.
that he's
So
saying is
true.
not
So
good for
true.
me.
Exactly.
And that's, I'm having an issue with that now, but I think it's going to work itself out because he's showing me certain things, and the more and more he shows me, and the more I'm willing to see it and act on it, the easier it gets. So I like it.
All right. Good.
I second that. I love it.
All right. Cool. Then so have you guys seen or understood blessings and curses from a multitude of people as a collective body? Have you seen and understood that? And if so, how so?
As a collective body, I've seen how the curses are going to stay because we're unwilling to do the work. And I'm gonna put myself in that, in terms of just sometimes certain things get hard and I feel like not walking, but I should be walking. So as a whole, the curses are what he said they're going to be. The blessing is him giving us this family to fall back on for the strength. And so I think sometimes we forget to use that. And so with that, you know what I'm saying? It's easy to see why the curses are winning, because we won't use what he gave us in the blessing. And in the blessing is the people that we're supposed to fellowship with and help us grow with him. So yeah.
But I'm asking more from a multitude or from a collective of people.
Mhm.
Have you seen a collective body that has had blessings and or curses, and what the impacts are basically?
Well, as a collective, I've seen a lot of, because I'm in the arena where there's going to be so many curses that you can't see the blessings. And so what I mean by that is I'm in education and we know what it takes to educate people holistically, but we won't do. So there's always going to be the curses, and we're going to have more failures than we're going to have more successes. And those curses come in the fact that we're almost, quote unquote, like the preachers or the snakes in the pulpit. We know, most of us know the truth, but yet and still for the money, we're not going to do what is required for everyone to be successful. The blessings come, quote unquote, when we follow his suit or follow his word and scratch all the other stuff that we not supposed to do. So I see the curses in that in its totality in education, period, because we won't follow what he said for us to do for our fellow brother. And at the same time, there are people in that totality of curses that are receiving blessings because they're willing to do certain things. But that doesn't get highlighted because it's few and far, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, how can you relate that to a bigger picture or outside in the entirety of the world that we live in?
That's the same thing we do. We see when politicians and all these other things are happening on a daily basis in our world. Like there are people that have means to solidify people not being poor. There's people that have means that solidify that people will come out of the worldly ways because of the status they have, and they know. I'm not gonna say everybody, because there's some people that are ministers that don't know, but for the entire body, there's more that do know the truth that won't give the truth. In that sense of the worldly way, we're those curses are going to continue until those people decide to take this walk on the narrow and straight and narrow. And so when we're looking at the world and how they're doing it, especially this weekend when we're talking about Easter and all these other mythical things, those things won't happen until those who know the truth decide to really come out of her and start ministering the truth. So that's how I see it on a worldly basis.
Right. Okay.
On a worldly basis, I just want to say rulership, power, and money. That's all I have to say.
Hmm. All right. So you see that as a blessing or a curse or both?
It is a blessing and a curse.
Exactly. All right. All right, good. We're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about how our actions are indicative of our blessings. The word of Yahuah consistently demonstrates to us that our actions are indicative of our blessings and curses. What we do individually and collectively is reflective of what transpires in our lives. Therefore, when we put Yahuah first and do his will, that is pleasing unto him, we are blessed. When we do things that are placed before him and does not glorify him, we pay the price severely, both spiritually and naturally. There is no escaping the truth and spirit of Yahuah in his righteousness, yet many continue to do everything else for self and put Yahuah last. There's a penalty and price to pay for this. What price are you willing to pay? And that's my question to everyone that will see and take part of this lesson. We all have to ask ourselves, what price are we willing to pay to know the truth, understand the truth, and be blessed? If we want to be blessed, there's certain things, there's a criteria for that. And when we don't follow that criteria, things are going to happen in you both spiritually and naturally. All right. So we've heard the term used, people always say I'm blessed and highly favored, right? We've all heard the phrase used. So those who are blessed and favored or highly favored have a responsibility and are accountable to Yahuwah's word of righteousness for his name's sake, and not just a one-liner response to how are you today? Most people, when you say, especially in the Christian church and other things, when you say, hey, hello, how are you? And they say blessed and highly favored. Well, how so? How are you blessed and highly favored? That's my question. So if you guys feel like you're blessed and highly favored, how do you feel like you're blessed and highly favored? That's a question.
One way I think that we're blessed and highly favored is, like I said, we've been called out of her. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing that I could tell somebody. We've been called out of the worldly way of doing things. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is being favored to understand the concepts and the precepts that I do understand and that do help me function in his way. Not there all the way yet, but to help me get there, so to speak. That's what blessed and highly favored means to me. I'm getting the word, I've walked out of her, I'm understanding, and then I'm now being able to apply the things that I do understand so that people will at least want to ask, why did you do it this way? Or why don't you do this?
Right. Okay. All right. Anyone else?
I would say coming out of her is one. I would say getting proper doctrine is two. I would say praying in spirit and in truth. And I would say forming the body. Yeah, forming the body and the family where we in. Because at the end of the day, other churches have the family, other religion have the family, and forming the family where we forming or having, give us great understanding, of Yahuah and Yahushua.
All right, good. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about blessings to curses and curses to blessings. So Yahuah has given us his word and promise of what he will do when we are obedient and disobedient. When we are obedient, we have the privilege of being blessed, and in like manner, when we are disobedient, we have to undergo the wrath and curses placed upon us. So Deuteronomy 11:26 through 32 says, "Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey the commandments of Yahuah your Elohim, which I command you this day, and a curse if you will not obey the commandments of Yahuah your Elohim, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day to go after other gods which you have not known. And it shall come to pass when Yahuah your Elohim hath brought you into the land, whether you go or possess it, that you shall put the blessing upon the Mount Gerizim and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Are they not on the other side, Jordan, by the way where the sun goeth down, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in the champaign of against Gilgal, beside the plains of Moreh? For you shall pass over Jordan to go in to possess the land which Yahuah your Elohim giveth you, and you shall possess it and dwell therein. And you shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day." Now, does that not clearly tell us that there are blessings that he's willing and will do and give us, and there are curses that he will also inflict upon us when we go against his will and his way? Is that plainly seen in this passage?
Yes, it is.
All right. So can you
Yes,
reflect?
it is.
Can you reflect and see the curses or the blessings that some may have had, and the curses that have been inflicted upon other people, while some are being blessed? Do you understand what had to transpire spiritually, and see it even from a natural perspective? Those that were blessed in certain instances and ways have a blessing that now they have a responsibility for, but when they have that responsibility, it now becomes a curse to other people when they don't do the right thing for the right reasons.
So I could see that naturally. I was looking at YouTube the other day, and ministers are now complaining about how their membership is going down. And I could see how you naturally thought one thing, and now it's starting to be a curse to you because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You get with the blessing that you was given.
Mm-hmm. How about bigger than that? In this world,
This world, I could even see it with worldly things, how, you took advantage of people and nations, and now it's starting to come back on you. And even in small places that we didn't even have an idea of, it's starting to show itself. And so I think I'm one who says bravo for the Most High that He's bringing them down.
all right. Cool. Anyone else?
I would say it's seen it naturally because I would say a perfect example is PDD, then a big star across there at the end of the day, and right now he in a lot of trouble. But I want to believe some FBI or some kind of thing bust down he place or some security something wherever. And these fellas is high. These people, these are fellas people look up to. You know, kind of high principalities and powers in high places. He's a kind of high ones. And right now he getting to come down. Because he's a person a lot of money.
All right. So how about some of the leadership of some of the churches and institutions that have been that have come about that are teaching certain things that are not what you now have learned as the truth? What about them? Didn't they receive certain blessings to be able to be in the position where they are, to be able to present truth and righteousness for his name's sake, but actually turned around and did something else?
I surely say so. Yep. And one that comes to
So
mind
true. So
is
true.
TD Jake. That's the
TD
one that comes
Jakes.
to my mind. Yep.
TD Jakes. TD Jakes.
And even others beyond, beyond the individuals, we know that collectively certain things, when it comes to specific doctrines, the Protestant church, the Catholic Church, which the Protestant church came out of, all of those things are now the belief systems for people in which they operate. And while those that like the papacy or pope and others, they're in a position of blessings. At the same time, the world suffers greatly at their, during the time of their blessings, when they have the power to do the right thing and teach the truth of the matter, but yet the world suffers while they become billionaires. While you go into the Vatican and see how, places are lined with gold and all of the things that, but but one, you have a spiritual famine and a natural famine. People that don't eat every day, they don't eat the word of our Creator to understand who He is, and a lot of them physically don't have food to eat. But yet we have these people playing church, saying that they represent our Creator, the Most High, which we know feeds us spiritually. So we have to begin to identify that these things are now out of time and out of season, that these churches have come about, and they use their blessings to be a curse on other people. That will only now turn around for those curses to become a blessing. All right. So that's what I want you to understand, and everything that's laid out in the book that our Creator has for a blueprint for our salvation and righteousness for the kingdom. So all of these things had to happen in order to bring us to the kingdom understanding of who our Creator is, which is contrary to the belief systems that are out there now, which we can see that they're divided churches, which is against the scriptures themselves and against the law and principles of Torah and Nevi'im altogether. So in the meantime, during all of this, through the plan of salvation, we have a conglomerate of blessings and curses that work for the glory of the Most High at the time of the end of when the kingdom on earth is manifested, and things go down and others go up. So we see that certain things are going down. One of you guys have mentioned that earlier. We see certain things within our governmental systems going down. We see certain things happening in the religious or traditions of men that the government systems are erected upon that are going down, so that the righteousness can then go up, and then the governments will be on the shoulders of righteousness, which is Yahusha.
Hallelujah.
Right. So do we understand that? I know I said a lot.
Yeah.
That. Good. Excuse me. So, command to love and blessings. Deuteronomy 30:16-20 says, "In that I command you this day to love Yahuah your Elohim, to walk in his ways and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that you mayest live and multiply." He's not talking about multiplying, your genetic seed. He's talking about his seed, which is spiritual, right? "And Yahuah your God shall bless you in the land whither you goest to possess it. But if your heart turn away, so that you will not hear, but shall be drawn away in worship of the gods and serve them, I denounce unto you this day that you shall surely perish, and that you shall not prolong your days upon the land whither you passed over Jordan to go possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both you and your seed may live, that you mayest love Yahuah your Elohim, and that you mayest obey his voice, that you may cleave unto him. For he is your life and the length of your days, and you may have dwelled in the land which Yahuah sware unto your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. All right. Then Psalm 37, 18 through 22 says, Yahuah knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. Who are these people? In the time of famine they shall be satisfied. They shall not be ashamed of the evil time, in the evil time. What time is that in the evil time? You guys know?
Are we talking about right now?
When is the evil time? That's the question.
Well, I
The
was
evil time
going
is
back
not.
over. Go ahead.
Wait, the evil time is
I-
not. Is not getting the truth.
Right. So the evil time is any time that's in darkness where he is not the head or the light that's shining.
That's what I was
Where,
about to
where
say.
the world sees and he can be glorified. The rest of the time is the time of darkness, really, and the evil time, where the truth was not available unto them, and or the truth was being held back from them. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say that we went through that with the reason why we're here. I just went back over that same thing, lightness and darkness.
Right, exactly. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of Yahuwah shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume into smoke, they shall consume away. The wicked borroweth and payeth not again, but the righteous shows mercy and giveth. For such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth, and they shall be cursed of him shall be cut off. I'm sorry, and they that be cursed of him shall be cut off. All right. So we have to understand that again, like the title of the lesson, it's all about being blessed to be a blessing. James 3, 1 through 10 says, My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouth, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold, also the ships, which though they be so great, are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. I want to stop there for 1 second and just to get some feedback from you guys. What do you think? And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it's set on fire of hell. We've talked about this, and we're going to continue to talk about it, but want to get your feedback in regards to what that is telling us in the proper context of spirit and in truth. Because
I think what it means is the. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think he's just saying that the tongue has the ability to start wars. It has the ability to give life. It has the ability to take life. It has the ability to control life. It has the ability to do all these things because of what comes out of a man's heart. And those people who want to receive those things that the tongue is saying are going to receive it. Just like when Eve was deceived, she received the lie, which was the doctrine that she received, but she also told it to Adam, and he received it, and then the whole world was turned upside down through just the simple conversation or just the simple tongue or lies that were given.
All right. So, a tongue is a fire in a world of iniquity. We've talked about before, what transgression, iniquity is, and that those things bring forth what sin is,
Sin.
right?
Yeah,
Sin doesn't exist without transgression and iniquity. All right. So those things now defileth the whole body. When iniquity sets in, when transgression occurs and iniquity sets in, it defiles the whole body, and the body now sins because it knows not. Right? Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
I agree, because transgression is twisting the truth. When they twist the truth,
Right. Into a lie.
when they twist the truth into a lie.
Exactly.
And then
and from that,
iniquity.
and from that, it setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. What has the world been going through other than hell? It's been going through hell. This world has been going through hell, and that a lot of people are not seeing that, and it's by design from the evil ones as well, to keep certain things from people from a national perspective in different nations, which is why they serve their nations and serve their gods and all those things, to not know the truth of the bigger picture outside of that. We know that the world has conspired to go against who our creator is, for them to benefit those things, for them to take course or ownership, so to speak, of their lands and all of those things, and for them to now indoctrinate their people to believing in their country, nationalism, patriotism, all of those things, for people to, give precedence and honor and glory to a flag or to a constitution, and all of the things that have nothing to do with who our creator is.
Oh, wow.
Which now sets the world on fire, because there's nothing but division, borders, biases, hatred, and all of those things. Do you see that? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right.
You on fire, because wow.
Exactly. And for every kind of beast and of birds and of serpents and of things in the sea is tamed and has been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil full of deadly poison. Why is that? Because of what
among the lies.
Right. And so when we say the tongue can no man tame, it is unruly and evil. Who do we identify with, scripturally, from a spiritual perspective, that's unruly and evil?
Shaitan, Satan, the liar,
Right.
deceiver.
Satan,
Lucifer, the devil.
Right. So man and Satan, once again, are what? Synonymous. When your tongue is full of evil and unrighteousness against your creator, it is deadly poison. That's the evil spirit of Hasatan, or Satan, that tries to come against and has been coming against our creator in righteousness, in spirit, and in truth. The scriptures then says, therewith bless we Elohim, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of Elohim, or God. That is very important to understand. What does that say to you? Anyone?
Even the Father and
Therefore we bless Elohim, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God, which means that they're trying to be like God.
Yeah,
So
because we made out anyhow, go ahead.
So,
Because
which are made after the similitude of God. So we have imposters.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. So you have imposters. We have false prophets. We have imposter people trying to be like our Creator, right? And they come in the form of man. When we
I was
bless,
about to say that.
when we
I'm sorry, go
bless
ahead.
our Father, when we bless Elohim, Yahuah, and do His will in obedience and righteousness, we can be blessed. At the same time, we will then be cursing man who is against our Creator, who is unrighteous, who use their power and authority, and who are trying to sit in the seat of Moses and trying to be like our Creator, but are imposters and are the false prophets, trying to be like our Creator, who He told us would come and was already here in the world.
Yeah.
Right? So James 3:10 says, out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing. My brother, these things ought not so to be. We should all want each other to be blessed. Why would anybody want to have to curse someone? But all of this is part of the plan of salvation. The Most High set it up this way based on what He knew from what times past in Earth Age number 1, because these are all the things that transpired in the war in heaven. It's the same thing. We're reenacting all those things, just like Ecclesiastes tells us that all these things are erased from our remembrance. So we have no knowledge of those things. The only way that we know about it is through this word and understanding all the things that He tells us, what transpired then, and His vengeance comes against us and His people during this time, which is His plan of salvation, where He has vengeance on His people for everything that we did in times past. But you can be blessed because He loves His Son. If you accept, if the world accepts His Son of His righteousness and His will and His way, then He will bless them greatly, and you will have eternal life with Him. If you do not, what happens? You will be forever cursed. You will be annihilated. You will have no parts of our Creator. All right? Do we understand that?
Yeah.
All right. So love and blessings and being blessed. Romans 12:9 through 21 says, let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affectioned to one to another with brotherly love, in honor, preferring one another. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving Yahuah. Rejoicing in hope, patience in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. Distributing the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. It is possible, as much as lieth in you, live peacefully with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith Yahuwah. All right. Therefore, in your enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, you shall heap coals
Eat
of
coals.
fire on his head.
Yes.
Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good.
With good.
All right. So when the going gets tough, and we've heard this saying before, the saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. It is indicative of those in the spirit that continue to fight and surrender themselves unto Yahuah to facilitate his will. Although the saying was initially stated for carnal matters, we can see how it is indicative of spiritual matters. We can clearly see this throughout the scriptures according to the book of Job and many other books and biblical characters and stories that show the fruits of Yahuah's spirit. Galatians 5:22 and 23. Both individually and collectively, we have a responsibility and are accountable. Individually, we are accountable for our salvation. And in turn, we want to ensure that those that are lost or finding their way are presented with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and blessings for others to be blessed. When the collective body and its members work together as one body in spirit and in truth, the outcomes are reflective and demonstrates which body is ruling or being blessed and reflects which body is being cursed. The weak ones and those that do not fight the war through their actions and the blessings given to them. The weak ones and those that do not fight the war through their actions and the blessings given to them until the end will not inherit the blessing Yahuah has waiting for them. All right. So when things get tough, all that transpires within us inwardly manifests outwardly. That's what we need to understand. Our spirit man is inwardly, and is our spirit, the character of who we are in the spirit that was with the Most High before you put on this natural carnal body, is your spirit man. This is how we are blessed, and then it manifests outwardly. So the things that are in us comes out. This is how we are blessed individually as well as collectively. So that's let's take a look at how our spirit man individually and collectively impacts us. Number one, being at war with self, the double-mindedness. We see this all the time. As I expressed in other content and commentary and lessons, we can see something that cartoons depict very well when they put an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other shoulder, which is double-mindedness. You're asking, what is right and what is wrong. Within yourself, you know what's right to do, you just don't do it. A lot of times people favor the unrighteous thing instead of the righteous thing to do. That's the double-mindedness that occurs, being at war with oneself. We know that it's being at war with oneself when it doesn't favor or is obedient to the two greatest commandments. Right? Do you guys agree or disagree?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I agree.
All right. So
I say I agree.
right. So looking
I
at
agree
those
100%.
things, being at war with self, or that double-mindedness, not only impacts you, but also impacts others. So when you're double-minded and you're all over the place and you may do some good, but you're doing a lot of evil too, that's a problem. Now, when you're single-mindedness and you're single-mindedness for Yahuah's sake and righteousness' sake, you are a blessing that begins to what? Curse other people. And that has a place in time and is impactful as well. People don't like the truth, and which means that they don't like Yahuah and his righteousness. So that's why we see constantly when the truth comes about, something happens because most people don't like truth. This is the spiritual warfare that goes on. This is this is the reason why we're here, because our Creator is spirit and is truth. So if we don't like truth, we don't like our Creator, and then you can't obey those two greatest commandments. And that's what we constantly see, those things happening both individually and collectively when those things take place. And we, in every situation, we can see and tie back to those things. Whether it's the war within yourself or the war on the lands, or what's going on in the world, or with the understandings or lack thereof when it comes to these scriptures. We can see the same war that takes place. There's a lack of understanding. There is no unification and oneness in our understanding. When we have that understanding internally, we can then be at peace, and the manifestation of those things will transpire around the world. Do you guys understand that, or agree, or disagree?
Yeah, I understand.
All right.
I understand.
So the second thing is the weak doesn't survive. We have a lot of weak-minded people, even in the truth. You have people in the truth that are weak. And I use the scenario often about, even birds know when their young won't make it. They're made to fly, either, push them out the nest, either they fly or they fall to their death. And although it looks painful and it may look a certain way, they know that that bird has to be able to carry its own. They can't carry the weight of someone else's life, just like we cannot with someone else's salvation, other than giving them the word and planting the seeds of righteousness. But in that way, we're teaching them how to do it, just like a mother bird teaches their young ones to fly. If you refuse to fly after everything that I've shown you, you will fall to your death.
So the most we could do
same thing in the spirit.
So the most we could do is plant a seed.
I'm sorry?
It's up to them to. I said the most we could do is plant a seed. It's up to them to take it in.
Not just plant the seed, that's a part of it. So planting the seed is part of it, living according to that seed and being obedient, be obedient in it, and not being a hypocrite to it is also part of it. One of the things that we see in other traditions of men in the different churches and religions around the world, they say one thing and do another. They're hypocrites. So you are not to be a hypocrite. Not only do you plant the seed of something, you live that seed. You are that seed. You're doing those things. The Most High does not call us to do something that he can't do or hasn't done or is doing. He doesn't ask us to do something that he isn't a part of or that he cannot do. We are to do the same thing. All right. Do we understand that?
Yeah, I understand that.
All right. And then point number 3 is, excuses regarding why matters concerning Yahuah don't get accomplished. We spoke about this earlier. So a lot of people, even in coming with in the terms with knowing the name of Yahuah and Yahusha is not enough at all. The name is the beginning of many things. You have to renew your mind, your spirit, your character, your traits, your behaviors according to the word in our Creator. So a lot of people think that, now that they come under the name, that's it. A lot of people are using the name, and they're still learning and don't have the knowledge that they need to have regarding his character and his principles and statutes, and putting all of the pieces together to understand that it's precept upon precept, which is principle and tenets above on principle and tenets. You can't get around that. So we have a responsibility regarding those things, instead of excuses why we give excuses as to why we won't do something for Yahuah, but we'll do everything for this world and for Satan and others, only to fuel the beast and to keep basically to keep our Creator away from us, which we know is going to end. whether you like it or not.
Hmm.
All right. So with that said, nothing comes easy. Yahusha pays the price even with the weakest members of his body. The evidence is in the manifestation and the outcome. For our individual lives, we can be blessed for our eternal salvation, personal life, career, relationships, family, business, and goals and aspirations when we do what is pleasing to Yahuah. Excuse me. So that's the beginning of, most people are just looking at those things as far as being blessed for their personal life, their career, relationships, family, and their goals, but they're not doing what's pleasing to Yahuah. So as things get tough, they get tough with coming against the unrighteousness of this world. So when we are blessed, that we don't forget. Certain people get to the top, certain people have information, and what do they do with it? They get what they want out of it for their personal biases and personal behaviors or things that they want out of the situation, and keeping the knowledge and information from others. They will even do evil. They will be hypocrites to the very thing that they know and understand, while others are deceived and doing it under deception because they've been led to do those things or understand that their blessings is the blessing that they are to have for themselves, which is against the word of our Creator. So it is all about being blessed, or be blessed, to being a blessing. So we are to be a blessing not only unto ourselves, but unto our Creator, Yahuah. All right. So that concludes today's lesson. I hope that all of you got something out of this and understand that our Creator is different than the ways of man. As we always quote Isaiah 55:8-9, his ways are not man's ways. His ways are higher than man's ways. And we cannot forget that. We cannot try to replace that because it's irreplaceable. All right. So hope you guys have a great week and understand and keep Yahuah and Yahusha at the forefront of your minds and of your lives. Be blessed.